So this is an interesting one, bit strange, but nevertheless interesting. So stay tuned and we'll discover more.
Come with me now.
Walking past the car the other day, I noticed this. So I thought that was a bit strange, so anyway I didn't need any spanners to take it off the car and brought it into the workshop to have a look at it. And the first thing I noticed was just how corroded, how black and corroded that bolt was. So I had a closer look at it and tried to remove it, and it just came off. Broken, like that. This part was still corroded and secured into the nut, which is there, into that nut. It was still sticking out of that nut, so I had to apply a bit of heat to it in order to and some WD-40 to get that out. And you can see from the galling on the threads there that I had to use some pliers, some pump pliers in order to get that out after some heat. So that came out all right. Luckily it wasn't all galled up inside the thread, and the thread in the nut is okay. So if you just look at that, just look at how bad that is, completely rusted all the way through. I've never seen a bolt fail like that in all my life, and just look how corroded it is. But interestingly, I thought the washer looked in pretty good shape, so I started thinking, oh, I wonder what material that's made out of. So I got myself a little handy magnet, quite strong magnets these are, and thought, let's have a look, see what this is made out of. Oh yes, definitely, that's mild steel. So obviously that part is as well. So they're mild steel, and so about the washer. I don't know if you could see that, but it is magnetic, but not as magnetic as that. Watch. See, that just jumps on. And this one, hardly any magnetism in it at all. So that would tell me that that's stainless steel, and this, the bolt, is mild steel. So let's have a look at what this is made out of. Not very magnetic at all. Well, no magnetic at all. So that, and there's nothing on that at all. Whoops, I dropped it in there. So there's no magnetism on the nut or this at all. So that tells me that's all made out of a good quality stainless steel. The lower quality stainless steels are slightly more magnetic than the high quality ones. So I've been and bought a new bolt, a couple of bolts actually. This is a high quality stainless steel one. So let's try the magnet on that. There's nothing at all, which says that's a high quality. So that's the bolt that should have been used in there. So why has this bolt failed? I'm sure some of you may know, but some of you may not know. That is bimetallic corrosion. That's what happens when you get two dissimilar materials together in a harsh environment like the rear of a car, where this is right behind the rear wheel. So any water and salt, etc., gets splashed up onto the back of this finisher piece for the exhaust. This little tail end finisher gets splashed onto there, which is why that's made out of stainless steel, so as it doesn't corrode. But that bolt should have been a stainless bolt in there. So bimetallic corrosion, the water and the salt reacts with the steel and the stainless steel, and what happens is this mild steel gives up itself to the stainless steel. So that is sacrificial oxidation, sacrificial corrosion. It sacrificed itself to such a degree that it's failed. Another name given to sacrificial corrosion is galvanic corrosion. Here are some words that I've found on a very useful website. I'll put a link below, so press pause and have a read. So I decided to fetch the other one off just to have a look at that, and you can see that that bolt is nowhere near as corroded as the other one. So let's see what that's made out of. Yes, it's the same. It's a steel bolt. How strange. So I think because that one that was super corroded, that was the near side wheel, which is in the gutter, which it gets probably more water due to the camber of the road, so more water, more salt, etc., which is why that's corroded and failed. But that one doesn't look as bad, but it's definitely on its way out. So fortunately I've bought two new screws, two new ones of those, and I'll be fitting those and putting them back on the car. Yeah, that's very, very tight in there, and you can see it is a lot darker there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some WD-40 on that and let that soak for a bit, and then I'll probably just warm that up slightly just to get that out, because the last thing I want it to do is for that to strip any threads inside that captive nut, because then it's going to be even more of a problem. So I want those to come out nice and clean. So what I'll do is probably get a wire brush on it, wire brush, WD-40, let that soak for a day or so because we're not using the car, and then put a bit of heat on it and get that out. Yeah, that's good. Right, we'll just let that cool down a bit now, and yeah, at least that bolt's come out nicely and not messed up the thread inside that captive nut. So yeah, pleased with that. So I'll just clean these two washers up with some acetone, and they've cleaned up quite nicely. They're just the staining of the rust has come off them quite easily. Right, I'm just going to show you once more the difference between this bolt and these bolts. So these are the bolts that were in originally. That's the one that failed, which was on the near side. So that is likely to, the side of the car in the UK that's likely to get more salt spray and wet weather on it than the offside, and that's probably why it's failed. It's right in the direct line of fire for the off the rear wheel, so salt and corrosion over the salt and water over the winter, before we had the car, because we've never used it in the winter, certainly when there's salt about, it's just never been out. So that's what happened in the first few years. Well, it started in the first few years of the car's life. We've obviously used it in the rain a few times. The problem has already started and it's just manifested itself in that failure. So this is the, see, it picks up with the magnet. That's the mild steel one, exactly the same. Mild steel. It does pick up this. These are the washers off that one, and it picks up, but with no real, there's no real magnetic force. Very, very slightly magnetic. So that's quite a low, well, a lower quality of stainless steel. But these are high quality stainless steel bolts, and you can see they do not pick up whatsoever. And if you look at the inside of the nut that's there, again, there's no, you can't detect any magnetism whatsoever, just like that. So they're the bolts we're going to put back in, and we're going to throw these in the bin and put them back on the car. So why did that part on the SLK, why did that fail? Why did that bolt fail? Well, it failed through corrosion, bimetallic corrosion. It failed through having the wrong bolt inserted into that assembly on the rear of the exhaust. So why did that happen? I believe that it wasn't Mercedes' intent to use the wrong bolt. I believe that line side stocking was probably the cause of it. Somebody's stocked the line side box of bolts with the wrong bolts, because they're quite easy to get mixed up, and so somebody has literally just taken the bolts off where they needed to go, off the stock shelf, and just inserted them, bolted them up, and the car's carried on along its production line. And I believe that there's probably a lot of cars out there with those same bolts in. Anyway, I've just checked with Mercedes, and to buy a new one of those as a replacement, if it's failed and you've lost it, is £126 plus VAT, so that's £151. So it's quite a bit to use to lose off the back of your car for the sake of buying a decent bolt. So I recommend that you check your cars just to see the condition of those bolts, and if they look a bit black and corroded, then I'd simply swap the bolts over, and then you can sleep soundly at night.